Ladies and gentlemen, let's get one thing straight. No one cares about you. Not really. They care about what you can give them, how you can serve them, how you can make their lives easier. The moment you stop being useful, you stop existing. That's the truth they don't want you to see. They dress it up in pretty little lies, family, friendship, loyalty. But in the end, everyone is just looking out for themselves. And you're just another piece on their board. But here's the thing about the board. It only works if you follow the rules, if you stay in your place, if you keep pretending that being a pawn is noble. But pawns don't win the game. Pawns get sacrificed. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather flip the board than play a game where I'm meant to lose. They'll tell you to be patient, to wait for your turn, to work hard, to be good, and someday you'll be rewarded. But someday never comes. The ones at the top, they don't play fair. They don't follow the rules they set for you. They take what they want, when they want, and laugh while you struggle to climb a ladder they keep pulling higher. So tell me, why are you still playing their game? Why are you still waiting for permission to live, to fight, to take? They won't hand you anything. They never have. The only ones who get what they want in this world are the ones ruthless enough to reach out and take it. They call it greed. They call it selfishness. But what do they call their own hunger, ambition, success, drive? Funny, isn't it? The same actions but different words. It's only wrong when you do it. When they do it, it's justified. When they lie, steal, manipulate, it's strategy. When you do it, you're the villain. Fine. Be the villain. Be the nightmare they whisper about. Because the truth is, they don't fear monsters. They fear competition. They fear someone who isn't shackled by their illusions. Someone who sees the game for what it is and refuses to play along. And that's real power. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is not what they told you it was. It is not fair. It is not kind. It does not care whether you rise or fall. They want you to believe in rules, in justice, in some invisible force that rewards the righteous and punishes the wicked. But tell me, have you ever seen a lion ask for permission to hunt? Have you ever seen a king beg for his throne? No, because power is never given, it is taken. They will tell you to be patient, to wait your turn, to follow the rules, and you will listen, like a good little puppet, until one day you wake up and realize your turn is never coming. The system was never made for you to win. It was built to keep you controlled, chained. The moment you understand that, the moment you see the world for what it really is, you have two choices. You can kneel, or you can burn it down. People love the idea of heroes, but heroes are nothing more than martyrs waiting to die. They are pawns, thrown into the fire to protect those too weak to fight for themselves. They want you to be a hero because heroes are predictable. Heroes hesitate. Heroes bleed for a world that never bled for them. But the villain, the villain is something else entirely. The villain does not wait. The villain does not ask. The villain takes. And that, my dear friends, is why they fear us. Because when you stop caring about their rules, when you stop seeking their approval, you become something terrifying. You become unstoppable. And that is the greatest crime of all. They don't fear monsters. They fear competition. They fear the ones who see through the illusion, the ones who are not afraid to carve their own path with their own hands. They preach about good and evil, but what is good except obedience? And what is evil except defiance? Those in power write the story, and they always make themselves the heroes. But I have a little secret for you. The villain is the one who changes the story. The villain is the one who rewrites the script. And the villain is the one who wins. So let them call you wicked. Let them whisper your name in fear. Let them lie awake at night wondering how to stop you. Because the truth is, they can't. They never could. They built this world thinking they would always be the masters. But what happens when the slaves refuse their chains? What happens when the ones they crushed finally decide to stand? I'll tell you what happens. The world burns. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what it needs. They'll call me cruel, but cruelty is just a word people use when they don't understand. They think I'm doing this out of hatred, out of vengeance. Ghost of their era got that. It's about balance. It's about tearing down the disease to make way for something new. Sometimes you have to burn the forest to let it grow again. And if that makes me the fire, so be it. I didn't ask for this role, but someone had to take it. And no one else had the guts. They're too busy clinging to their hope, to their lies, to their fear of what happens when the system collapses. But the system is already broken. I'm just finishing what they started. And when it's done, when their towers are ash and their thrones are rubble, I'll disappear into the shadows again. I don't want their thanks, their pity, or their understanding. I don't need them to see me as a hero, because I'm not. Heroes are just villains with better PR, and I have no interest in playing that game. I am what they made me, what the world made me, and that's enough. I'll leave them to pick up the pieces, to rebuild, to decide if they've learned anything at all. But I won't wait for their redemption, because I know better. People don't change unless they're forced to, and even then it's a gamble. But maybe, just maybe, they'll remember what happens when they push too far. Take too much, destroy too freely. Maybe they'll think twice before building their next empire on the bones of the innocent. Or maybe they won't. Maybe the cycle will start all over again, and someone else will have to do what I've done. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I've done my part, played my role, and now it's someone else's turn. Oh, they'll tell stories about me, call me a monster, a villain, the ender of worlds. Let them. Stories are for the living, and I've been dead inside for a long time. They call it madness. I call it clarity. Because once you see the truth, you can never go back. You can never unsee the chains wrapped around your wrists, disguised as duty, tradition, morality. They convinced you that being good meant being weak, that being kind meant being used. And you believed them. Of course, you did. You were raised on their stories, their rules, their fragile little lies. But tell me, what did obedience ever bring you? A pat on the head, a slow death in a system that never cared about you. Look around. Do you see the heroes they promised? Do you see justice? No. You see greed wrapped in gold. You see cowards hiding behind laws they wrote for themselves. The strong take, the weak serve, and the world keeps spinning, pretending it makes sense. But it doesn't. It never did. It's a rigged game, and the only way to win is to stop playing by their rules. So what will you do? Will you sit there waiting, hoping, wishing? Or will you stand up and take what's yours? Because here's the truth they don't want you to know: there are no rules, no limits, no lines you cannot cross. There is only power, and those too afraid to claim it. And fear. Fear is the greatest leash of all. They keep you in line with fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of consequences. But what happens when you stop being afraid? What happens when you realize that fear is nothing but a shadow, a trick of the mind? You become free, bend arrogance, and nothing terrifies them more than a person they can no longer control. Ah, control. That's what it's always been about, hasn't it? They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you questioning. They want you quiet, obedient, predictable. Because a mind that dares to question is a mind they cannot cage. A mind that refuses to kneel is a mind that will burn their world to the ground. And maybe that's exactly what needs to happen. Maybe the world they built needs to burn. Because tell me, What has this world ever done for you? Has it given you peace? Has it given you happiness? Or has it just taken until there was nothing left? They used you. They shaped you into what they needed. A cog in their machine, a pawn in their war, a nameless, faceless, forgettable thing. But you are not forgettable. You are not replaceable. You are more. But they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to wake up. Because the moment you do, their game is over. And they need this game. They need you asleep, following, obeying. Because without their control, they are nothing. So wake up. Break the chains. Let them call you wicked. Let them call you ruthless. Let them fear you. Because fear is respect in its purest form. Because the only ones who call you cruel are the ones who can no longer use you. And if they call you a villain, then wear the name like a crown. Because the difference between a villain and a hero, it's just a matter of who's telling the story. So tell me, why cling to the light when it's never done you any favors? Why keep playing a game you know is rigged against you? Step into the shadows. Let go of the lies, the illusions, the fake morality they've shoved down your throat. The world doesn't care if you're good or bad. It only cares if you're strong. And strength isn't pretty. It's not clean or noble. It's messy, violent, ruthless. But it's real. It's the only thing that's real. The only thing that matters. They'll call you a monster for it. They'll whisper your name in fear, paint you as the villain in their little stories. Let them. Villains are the ones who shape the world, who change it, who make it theirs. Heroes just clean up the mess and pretend they've won. But winning is for the fearless, for the ones who don't care about approval, about redemption, about playing nice. Winning is for the ones who do what needs to be done, who take what they want, who laugh in the face of a world that told them they'd never amount to anything. So stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop hoping for a happy ending. There's no rescue, no redemption, no justice. There's just you and the choices you make. The only question is, how far are you willing to go? How much are you willing to lose to finally win? The light, it's not your friend, it's a trap, a prison. The darkness, though, it's freedom, it's power, it's truth. And once you embrace it, you'll see the world for what it really is, not good, not evil, just chaos. Beautiful, endless chaos. And in that chaos, you'll find yourself. The real you, the one who doesn't care about the rules, who doesn't need permission to exist. So laugh, scream, break the chains. Let the world see you for what you are. Not a hero, not a villain, but something far more dangerous. Someone who understands that the only way to win is to stop pretending the game was ever fair. The world isn't yours to fix. It's yours to take. That's the secret. You see, the one they don't want you to know. The light is weak. The darkness is strong. And you're stronger than you think. If only you'd stop fighting it. If only you'd let it in. Then, and only then, will you understand. The joke's always been on them. Now it's your turn to laugh. They'll feel me now. Every action has a consequence, and they thought they could escape theirs. They thought they could take and take without ever paying the price. But the bill is due, and I'm here to collect. They'll beg for mercy, but mercy is a kindness they never showed me. Why should I offer it to them? Why should I care if they suffer? They didn't care about my suffering. They didn't care about the lives they destroyed. But I care. I care enough to make them pay. I care enough to make sure they never hurt anyone else again. That's the difference between them and me. They destroy for profit, for greed, for power. I destroy because it's necessary, because it's right, because someone has to stand up to them, and no one else will. They'll call it madness, but I call it clarity. For the first time in my life, I see things as they truly are. The masks have fallen, and the truth is laid bare. They are parasites, feeding off the lives of others, and parasites must be eradicated. Oh, they'll resist. They'll fight to protect what they've stolen, but it won't matter. I'm not afraid of them. Not anymore. They'll feel the weight of their sins, and they'll know it was me who brought it down on them. They'll know my name. They'll remember it long after I'm gone. Because I'm not just fighting for myself. I'm fighting for everyone they've ever hurt, for everyone they've ever silenced, for everyone who thought they were alone in their pain. They're not alone, and neither am I. I have my rage. I have my purpose. I have the fire that burns within me, unrelenting, unstoppable. They thought they could break me, but all they did was forge me into something stronger, something they can't control, something they can't stop. And when it's over, when the dust has settled and their world lies in ruins, I'll finally be free. Free from their lies, free from their control, free from the chains they tried to bind me with. They'll call it madness, but I'll call it justice. And justice is not kind. Justice is not gentle. Justice is what they deserve.